Hey everyone, Pastor Wes here with you on Wednesday night. Hope you're doing well. For the last couple of months, we've been talking about this verse from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18 that says, "For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." With the message of the cross being the power of God for me, for you, for all of us as believers, one thing that I find so unfortunate is that there are so many Christians that are in church every week, and yet they're still unaware of the rights, the privileges, the authority that they have been afforded by way of the cross. They fail to maximize, they fail to utilize the benefits that God Himself has ordained and has given His children, what Jesus died for. Now, part of that falls on the pulpit. The pulpit has to take part of that responsibility for not teaching the children of God what their rights and their authority are, but we can't place all the blame on the pulpit. This is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and it's up to each and every one of us to grow in our relationship with the Lord. I'm not one of those that likes to place blame. I think we do way too much of that in our culture today, and sometimes we just have to own up to the fact. Now, part of it is we got to teach that from the pulpit, but at the other hand, every believer has to find that for themselves as well. But knowing about the cross without knowing the authority, the benefits, is going to keep you from being able to experience all that God has in store for you. And God has great things, many things in store for all of His children. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard the things that God has prepared for those who love Him. We can't even fathom all that God has for us. But what the cross provides for me, what the cross provides for you, is really an opportunity to see God do beyond the normal, everyday routine of life. And so the cross really is the key to God the Father being able to come in, for Him to invade the mundane circumstances of life, just like He invaded the tomb of Jesus when Jesus died on the cross, and He turned those circumstances around. We see His power, when we see His authority revealed. The tomb was empty. A lot of Christians sing, we talk about God's power, but on an individual basis, a lot of us really cannot testify to ever experiencing this outpouring of God's divine power, because they've never really had access to the power of God. They have never seen Him twist and turn and tweak things beyond their human comprehension. And so if you think about it, we're a movie culture. We have so many movies at our disposal to watch, and a lot of the movies, like an action adventure movie, I tie this in with that, and I see a lot of correlation there, because there are a lot of action adventure movies where the hero of the story is trying to locate something very special, trying to locate a treasure, trying to locate some artifact or whatever, and along the way on their journey of trying to find this treasure, they're always facing opposition after opposition coming from an enemy that's trying to divert them from reaching the goal, benefiting from finding this great prize, this great treasure, or whatever it may be. And these films often remind me of what Satan attempts to do in our lives, in the lives of all believers. See, you and I, whether you realize it or not, we have a precious treasure. We have a unique possession that our enemy does not want us to discover. We've got benefits available to us that he doesn't want us to have access to. And he'll use no limits to stop you and stop me and all believers from retrieving that treasure, that great prize that God has for all of us, for all of His children. And Paul gives us some insight into the benefits, into the authority that the treasure of the cross has to offer when he writes to the church at Ephesus. However, in this letter to the Ephesians, it's a little different from a lot of the other passages we'll read in there. And it's one of those that it probably wouldn't receive a passing grade in an English course, because in the first few verses of chapter 1 in Ephesians, Paul writes this very, very long run-on sentence in the original language of the Greek. And it's probably because he was just so impassioned about what he was saying that he didn't take time to pause in between words. Instead, he just kind of goes on and on and on. He just can't seem to quit. Nevertheless, it makes sense for Paul really to be absolutely beside himself on this topic, because what he shares with the church is something that is worthy of excitement. It is something that's worthy of just blurting out without stopping, without taking a breath, just getting it out there, because he's talking about the authority that you and I have as a believer. He's talking about the benefits that we all share. We're co-heirs with Christ. That's what the Bible talks about. And we have great benefits as being a co-heir of Christ and these prized possessions. And we all have access to them because of the cross. God is no respecter of persons. And so the authority that he has purposed for me to walk in is the same authority that he has you purposed to walk in, the same benefits that he has for me, and all the blessings of the cross, all the blessings of this new life, all the blessings of grace and mercy and peace he has for all of his children. And so these truths presented to us in this passage are just so incredible that I don't want to pass over them. And so that's where we're going to start next week. I hate to stop on you. I hate to build it up and then just stop, but it's really so exciting. It's really so just filled with power that we need to dedicate a day in itself just to looking at that. So next week when we'll pick back up, we'll begin talking about that verse, talking about the power and the authority that you and I possess as believers. We've just got to go and get it. We've got to use it. You've got access to it. You got the key to unlock the door. The key's the cross. We just got to go get it and start using it and see God do incredible things beyond your imagination in your life. Things that you thought were dead, God will resurrect in a heartbeat when you begin to walk in his power and his authority. Things that you thought were gone will be found again when you walk in his power and authority. So until next week, I love you. God bless you. We'll see you next time. We'll talk about that authority.